So for those of you who are new to our sessions here, we share some of the rules. My name is Sylvie Lee. I'm with the Center program. Together with my colleague Taylor, we run those Wednesday mindfulness session. So I call them Wednesday sessions. And we try to bring and spend half an hour with you every week and try to bring some of those mindfulness tips and tricks. So we share some of the, I would say, rules of engagement with you. And then one of them, I would say the most important one will be the MRI, the most respectful interpretation that you do of everything that we're talking about in this half an hour together, and then you keep it for yourself and then see how you can apply them and also be the most mindful and most caring to yourself about every thought and emotion that you have through those sessions. So we are going into, since February started, we started with what we call the emotional intelligence series, and the first four courses that we have were in what we call the emotions and feeling states. So we saw emotion and mindfulness of emotions, we saw naming on emotions, and last week we were with Taylor, where she brought us through looking at the different emotions and how to recognize them and how to be with them comfortably at the present moment. And today we are doing a little bit of a deep dive into what we call working with difficult emotions. And so before we listen to Jack Confield's podcast, I wanted to share with you this image. It's a very, very easy reminder of 6 different steps that we take when we are having difficult emotions coming to us. So why is it so important? And when I saw the title, I was like, oh my God, this is such a great time of bringing this subject on the table. One is, well, we've been in COVID for 2 years. We've been going through a lot of difficult emotions, not talking about just the COVID, but everything that made us change our ways of living. But look at what happened in Ottawa. For those of you who are in Ottawa, I do realize that we have a lot of colleagues joining from other parts of the country. But for those of you joining from Ottawa, what is happening to our world? What is that thing happening there? Who are we? I mean, what are those humans? I mean, sometimes I'm asking myself, wow, those are humans hurting other humans. What kind of emotion is going through me when I'm looking at the news, when I'm hearing some of my friends who are living downtown and who are in a very almost permanent state of panic with the sound and not being able to go out, and how can we live with those emotions going within ourselves? It almost makes us feel numb. It almost makes us feel in a state of despair or helplessness. So I wanted to share maybe this tool and go step by step with each one of you here. You can select one. It can be the feeling of the convoy. But difficult emotion happens to us on a daily basis. It can be most and above all, one difficult emotion about ourselves. So I, for one, have high expectation of myself. So one difficult emotion will be, I'm deceived in myself, deceived about something that I haven't done to the level of my own expectation. Difficult emotion can be something that happened at home, with our children, with our partner, with our animal. I know that my children who are older now, if something happened to my little dog, my Mushu, I wouldn't be 100% myself at work because I will be thinking about, how am I going to make it better for my Mushu? Difficult emotion can be also not being able to complete what we're doing at work because of everything that is happening. Lack of support, lack of 100%ness to be concentrating at the task because of understanding what's going on, because of, everything that is going on with auto right now, with our site. The center block actually is being closed for, as we speak about the convoy problem. So we can have difficult emotions for everything. Think about something that you have and then turn towards your emotion by saying, how can I accept them? Because the first thing we do when we're looking at difficult emotion, we're brushing it off. I'll take care of it later. It's nothing. I am the kind of person that I don't need to face my difficult emotion. It can be seen later. So what we do by that, we are ignoring this charged of feeling that is inside of body. So face it. What is happening? So for me, the feeling of helplessness towards my friends that are living downtown. What can I do? What can I do when I'm feeling it? What does it look like when I'm accepting it? I'm accepting that I cannot do everything. I'm accepting that it's not a sense of defeat. It's a sense of accepting that I'm feeling that because part of my ego did not want me to accept that. So accepting it is the first step. Accepting that we cannot do something. Accepting that we are sad. Accepting that something that is making us feeling very weird is happening and not ignoring it is the first step. And then I need to identify what it is. So to stay mindful, I need to accept that am I sad? Am I angry? Am I frustrated? Am I just very, very deceived? What is it? What is happening? Once I'm acknowledging what is happening in me, once that I have my two hands or, my imagined hand about what is going on, the turmoil that is going into me, I'm saying, hey, I notice you. I know that you're there. I know that you're anxious. I know that you are taking the time to notice. The most important thing that we need to tell ourselves is for anything that is happening in our life that is a bad and difficult moment, it has a beginning and it has an ending. It does not stay all the time. What stays all the time is our reaction to it, our negative reaction to emotions. But if we're taking our reaction out and we're just looking, noticing what is going on in our body, we're saying, oh, that too is going to pass. And I need to notice myself while it is passing. So realizing the impermanence of my emotions. Once I realize that it is impermanent, then what's next? What can I do? The investigate part. I'm inquiring about, hey, what triggered me having those emotions? So if I'm coming back to my story, what triggered my helplessness feeling? I feel for my friends who are living downtown. I feel like if I was living there, I feel like, it's unfair. I feel unfairness. I feel any logical person will actually look at that and say, wow, what's going on? The world has become illogical. So I feel this helplessness of being unable to solve it, unable to support it, unable to make it better. So identifying what triggered it and what I could do or what I can do at this moment. I cannot save the world, but I can help my friend by giving them a call, supporting them, and helping them through this moment. So that brings me back to the last point, which is the let go and the need of a control. So when we're controlling by saying everything is fine, nothing bothers me, then we're actually repressing what's going on, and then we're actually giving it back to our body. I'm telling you that. Notice next time when you have a headache. Notice next time when you have a backache. Notice next time that you have a point, a feeling, very, very strong point, like somebody was poking with a kind of a pen on your back in a very specific place, and just poking. You feel that there is something there poking, but you just don't know what it is. So our body necessarily is telling us a story, and is telling us, can you just stop and listen? You need to let it go. You need to let go that emotion that is in you. Accept what is that you can do at this moment, given your level of energy and your level of capacity. And all that is acceptance, and is to let our ego on the side, because the ego is saying all the time, I can. But at the end of the day, we can't all the time. So let me invite you to listen to Jack and see what he has to offer us in dealing with difficult emotion before we go and discuss it among ourselves.
You're now prepared to learn one of the most valuable aspects of mindfulness practice: how to respond wisely in the face of strong emotions. When strong emotions like fear, anger, resentment, anxiety, shame, guilt arise, we can easily get overwhelmed in them. Lost in the force of these feelings, we feed them with stories about why we feel this way, who might be to blame, what we should have done and will do, reacting in ways that we might later regret. The good news is that mindfulness is a powerful and effective way to work with such strong emotions. Studies at UCLA have shown that mindfulness and compassion can directly diminish reactivity in the face of difficult emotions. Consider Gene, for example. He described struggling with his reactions to a coworker who was often manipulative and jealous, undermining the team effort so that nothing could get done. Gene was so caught up in frustration and anger, he would sometimes wake up at night not knowing what to do. And Maria was gripped with fear when she sent her 9-year-old son off to school. He'd been talking about kids getting bullied, and she was horrified at the things he reported. But the school seemed to be doing little about it, and she knew her small son could be next. They both knew they had to address these situations directly, and wanted to do it without being so caught up in reactive emotions. They began to practice mindfulness with them, and here's how they did it. First, they practiced breathing with the feelings of frustration and anxiety, so that gradually a sense of space could open up to hold them. They were encouraged to name the feelings and let the energy of the frustration, anger, and fear expand, and to discover that as the feelings expanded, they gradually lost their powerful grip. They were reminded not to judge the feelings or make them go away, but just to recognize them as a protective human response and hold them with kindness and compassion, like a sympathetic grandfather or grandmother. At this point, Jean and Maria began to notice that their strong feelings had other feelings underneath them. Beneath Jean's anger, there was hurt, fear, and worry. Beneath Maria's anxiety was helplessness, shame, a sense of futility. As they held all these feelings with compassion, they recognized that these are the challenges for workers and parents everywhere, and they felt a confidence that now they could work with them. Strong emotions are not the end of the story, of course. With mindfulness and greater emotional balance, both Jean and Maria were then able to communicate more successfully and to respond to the problems and begin the necessary changes. In a similar way, these qualities of mindfulness and compassion can be brought by you to the whole range of difficult emotions that arise through our workday. The mistrust of a manipulative colleague, the embarrassment from a mistake, the sense of not being appreciated, the fears of failing. Let's practice how to do this. Take a seat with ease and presence. Let your body settle and fill your body with the half smile of kindness. To begin with, bring your attention back to the natural rhythm of the breath or body anchor. When your attention wanders, kindly bring the puppy back. Now let's turn the quality of your careful attention to deliberately focus on strong and difficult emotions. Take a moment to remember a situation of difficulty in your work life. As you remember and picture this difficulty, let yourself remember how it feels when you are in it. Now choose one of the difficult emotions that arise at this time. It might be fear or hurt, anger or frustration. Don't focus on the story about the situation, but drop down and sense the feeling in your body. Notice where it is. Let it be here for a time and breathe to make space for it. It's helpful if you can name the emotion softly, allowing it space to be and to expand in a field of mindfulness. Now, add compassion. Don't judge the feeling or try to make it go away. Hold it with compassion for all the suffering connected with it. See how it responds to kindness. As you allow this strong feeling, imagine how many others are experiencing this same feeling across the world, and let your compassion grow to include them as well. If there are other strong feelings around or underneath this initial emotion, hold these too with the same spacious awareness and gently allow the whole experience. Let compassion and mindfulness work their magic. And if working with strong feelings you get overwhelmed, Ground yourself by simply coming back to the breath or body anchor for a time. And then when you feel steady, try a little bit again. Finally, let's incorporate this understanding in our core practice. Bring your attention back to your breath or body anchor. When a strong emotion or body sensation, especially difficult ones, pull your attention from the anchor, let go of that focus and bring your mindful and compassionate awareness to the feeling, naming it softly as it moves and changes. After a time when it's diminished or you are at ease with it, return to the breath or your anchor until another strong feeling or sensation arises. Let yourself be present and balanced with this breath or these feelings just as they are.
So, welcome back. Take a little bit sip of water, tea, coffee, hot beverage. How do you feel? And would you want to share one takeaway from today's session? I'm pretty sure everybody have a lot of difficult emotions that are going through, especially now, more than I would say any time before, because of the information flow that is going through us at work, at home. Do tell us a little bit about how you deal with difficult emotions, how you hold the ball, and how you care for yourself. You can do it through chat. You can just turn on your voice. When we tape those things, we don't see the information. All we do is we're hearing the person's talking. You can also share something such as a takeaway, a promise that we will practice this week and for the coming week, how you will intentionally take 2 minutes and look at our own reaction, look at our emotions before we step into giving a response or participating in a difficult conversation. Here in the chat, Leslie's sharing, can I control the situation? If not, just breathe and move on. Thank you, Leslie. Taylor is sharing, I like to avoid my feelings or blow up. So when I feel something strong coming on, I try to do something I enjoy to ensure I'm being positive. Then I try to face the feelings. I think the key here, the takeaway is Not to judge ourselves when we have those strong feelings. Not to say, oh, you silly you. Why are you feeling like that? Yasmin is sharing, refreshing not to be told to shut those feelings down, but in the contrary, to feel them and work with them. Yes, because they're normal. And the more we do self-talk, the more we say, how dumb of you to do that. The more we hear that, and the more our self-esteem is getting a hit. So facing those feelings to say, wow, that is impressive. That has been a very strong one. What can we do with that now? Wow, hugging yourself and appreciating that. So Veronique has sent a JPEG. Sorry, I have to click on it to see what it is, but it's not letting me looking at it. I guess I have to download it. So definitely downloading it to open it right after. But I think if it's up to someone, it's up to us. It's up to me to recognize what's going on, to accept it, to take the deep breath, and to move on. So is there anything else somebody would like to share with us? And we have a couple seconds, maybe 30 seconds, a minute. So I would like to wish you a wonderful Wednesday, a wonderful week. Stay safe and be kind to yourself. Thank you.